Hi everybody, this is Michelle and I'm saying hello and welcome to today's Wakey Shakey Screencast. This week we are going to be looking a little bit at discourse, but really what I want to do is take a step back because we've done quite a lot of technical grammatical vocabulary topics over the last 7 or 8 weeks, and what I really want to do is think about something that's quite close to my heart, which is really what does it mean to be a learner of English or a speaker of English. So I do want to have a think about what it means to speak English, and I'd like you guys to be ready to talk about this in your groups. Okay, so let's get ready. I want to start with some facts and figures that you might not know. The first I think is really interesting. There are more people who speak English in the world as a second or an additional language than there are that actually speak it as a first language. And actually the balance is quite interesting. For every one person who speaks English as their first language, there are 3 people that speak it as their second language. That means that really the people who are speaking English, the most English, are not the people who speak it as their first language or their mother tongue. 80% of the data on the world's computers is in English, regardless of what country you're in. So for example, in Romania, the majority of their data is going to be stored in computers in English, which is quite interesting as well in terms of why people need to learn English. The next fact, English is a vacuum cleaner of a language and we suck in lots and lots of new words every year, but this figure here, 20,000 words every year, move from English into other languages, so they're absorbed into other languages as well. So English is changing, but it means that English is also changing other languages. There are simplified forms of English which help people in different professions communicate internationally. So for example, we have airspeak, which is spoken by air traffic controllers or pilots. We have police speak, which helps people communicate when they're talking about international crime. And we have doctor speak as well to simplify communication between doctors. So English itself changes depending on who is actually speaking to each other. And also the last thing is that grammar and vocabulary vary really a lot, even between very small distances. For example, you could have 2 villages, maybe 20 miles apart in England, and the English spoken in each village might have quite big differences between it in terms of the grammar and the vocabulary. Okay, so just some interesting facts for you to think about. Okay, now here's where I need you guys to speak to each other. I want you to just discuss these sentences to decide to what degree these are actually true for you or not. So if you think about the first one, do you speak English mainly to native speakers of English, or do you speak English mainly to non-native speakers of English? And what does that mean? What are the implications of that? So just work with the person sitting next to you, ask your teacher to stop the video and work through these ideas together, okay? Okay, I hope there was some interesting discussion generated there, and we're going to move on. And I'm sure that when you were discussing these, you focused on how you organised your ideas and you used lots of discourse markers or sentence starters. Okay, I'm going to ask you several questions, and the idea is that you are going to speak about these questions, organising your ideas to discuss with your class. Again, the idea is to stop the video and discuss these with your group. Okay, so I hope that this offered you the opportunity to think about really what it means to be a speaker of global English or a global speaker of English. That's something definitely that we need to think about in terms of what it means to be a global citizen and what it means to speak different languages. So that's it for now, and I'm sending a big cheeky grin your way and saying a big cheeky ciao for now. Have a great week.